Alright, so it's finally that time. We gotta clean it. Now, there's not much to cleaning this gun. First, we're gonna get some of this, and we're going to mix it, I think, with water, I want to believe, because I already have some mixed up. It looks pretty disgusting. And we're gonna go ahead and pour some down the barrel. And then, I'm just gonna slosh it around a little bit. We gotta plug the nipple down here so it doesn't all run out the bottom. Hopefully not pour it all over me. That's good. Alright, so this part's pretty complex. Literally just slosh it around. Just so it goes all the way up and down the barrel. And again, you still want to put your finger right on the nipple so it doesn't run out the bottom. But you do this a little bit. I need to put a little more in there.
You want some help with that?
No, I think, well, this will probably do it. It feels like there's a good bit in there. Alright, and then do it one more time. And then, as you can see, the barrel is very dirty. So, we're gonna dump that out. Looks like used motor oil. Not lose the ramrod while we're at it.
Why don't you screw that down?
It doesn't screw down.
Oh, I thought it did.
And then, the next step is we're gonna get a patch and get that ramrod, if you'll hand it to me. And we're just gonna put the patch around here and run it up and down the barrel. And we're gonna keep doing this. It might take a few patches. But we're gonna keep doing it until they come out clean and dry. Alright, let's pull it out. It's still pretty dirty, which is to be expected. Looks kind of like tie-dye, the way it went in. Let's get another one. And you don't need anything fancy for a patch, just some fabric will do. Just tear off a good little strip of it. Oh, and one thing with black powder, it's very fun to shoot. Like, I've had a blast shooting it today, pun intended. But really the only downside, besides the loading time, if that's an issue, is there's a lot of stuff you need for it. So, like, if you look down here, I got a whole toolkit full of it. So, like, just to go through it for a second, these are some extra caps. The Handyman Secret Weapon. I believe this is a nipple wrench right here, if you ever need to take this off. Got some extra patches. Got a whole case of these 58 caliber bullets that my dad cast up for us. Or, he cast them up a long time ago. There's some smaller ball ammo that you might see in the future. Some extra ammo. This is some of the powder, or this is the powder we're using, but this is not the right container. It's actually triple F black powder. Now, I'm not gonna try and act like I know a lot about black powder. So what I understand about it is there's 1F through 4F. There's different grades of it. This is 3F. And I'm not really sure, you know, what takes what. But who knows? Maybe we'll figure it out one day. And if we ever do, we might do a video on it. But anyway, need to run some more patches. And I have a special cleaning rod for this. Like, as you can see, the one that I was packing the ammo down with is still there. This one's just bigger. It's got this on it to help stabilize it, and it just works better. So it's a different experience than shooting your normal gun.
Let me show the nipple. I'm making the noise when you.
Because your normal gun, the time you're shooting it, like if you go out and shoot it one day, you're not going to have to clean it before, you're not going to have to clean it to continue firing it. You'll have to clean it when you get home, of course, but this gun, you actually have to clean it to continue firing it, because the last shot I fired in it, I had some trouble getting it down the barrel. So again, got the tie-dye going. We'll run it down one more time. If I can get it on there. And I'm sure this is real exciting for all of you, but it's a necessary part of the process. Like I said, black powder's, it's different. It's probably not for everybody. And there's a lot that goes into it, but none of it's very complex. It's just, there's steps to doing things. Stuff that you wouldn't have to do on a modern gun. And it's kind of dirty to shoot. But as long as you're not a clean freak, it'll probably be okay.
So let's run a hypothetical. What would you do if you lost the fabric inside the gun?
Well, there's a few different things you can do. One of the things is you may get lucky and be able to blow it out the end of the barrel by just putting a cap in. Because if there's a patch down in there, you're not going to be able to fire the gun, because the spark comes from the cap that goes right here, and it goes through the nipple, which is this right here, and it goes in to where you've packed down the powder and the bullet. So if there's a patch down in the bottom, you're probably not going to be able to fire it because it'll probably be blocking the spark. So that would be my first option, is to put a cap on and fire it, see if that'll work. But if that doesn't work, then you may have to explore other options and maybe get different ends to your cleaning rods, because they make a bunch of different ends. Like there's even an end with a screw on it to where if a bullet gets stuck in the barrel, in theory, you're supposed to be able to put that on the end of a cleaning rod and thread it into the bullet and pull it out, because it's lead, so it's not too hard. But also because it's lead, it might strip out. But that doesn't happen very often, thankfully, so you shouldn't have to worry about that too much. And let's see, we'll probably run. Again, this is kind of tedious. You just have to keep running patches through it until it's clean. And another thing is, I had to do this whenever I started today. I shot a couple of just the caps. I think I shot 2 or 3, just to make sure that the barrel was dry, like there was no oil or anything in there. Because if there's any sort of moisture in the barrel, it might get the powder wet and then it won't fire. So that's another thing you have to deal with. Like, I'm not really sure how soldiers in the Spanish American and Civil War handled fighting in the rain, because it seems like all their powder would get wet and it'd be kind of at a standstill. They'd have to go bayonets and swords, but I honestly don't know. I couldn't tell you. Maybe by the next video I'll know and I can enlighten you. And one thing I also failed to mention earlier that's kind of helpful is there's a little compartment on the stock, and I'll show you in just a second. Alright, so we're getting better. But I'll show you that compartment real quick. It's right here. You just pop that up. And this is actually one of those, I believe it's one of those, looks like an extra nipple actually. But anyway, we don't need to mess with that too much. But you can just keep a few little things down in there. I don't know if that's where they kept their cleaning kits or what. But, you know, if you just need to put a little something in there, you can. So anyway, as you can see, we're getting close. So, it might take 1 or 2 more patches. But, all part of the process. And what's going to be real interesting is I want to do a revolver, but that's going to be a very tedious process. Like, we're probably going to have to speed through the loading on that, because, you know, you saw how long it took to load this gun once, but you pretty much have to do that 6 times with a revolver. Which I have, there's a little stand in that toolbox that'll help with that, so might speed it up a little bit. hopefully. And another issue with a revolver, since we're on the subject, is I believe you have to lubricate or put grease or something on the back of the cylinder, or it's somewhere on the cylinder. It might be the front, I'm not sure. Because with how the sparks fly whenever you fire it, if you're not careful and you don't do it correctly, the sparks can jump to another cylinder and you can fire multiple shots at once, which you do not want. So it's a different thing using the revolver, but I'm sure at some point we'll do it. So I'll go more in depth with you whenever that happens. And hopefully this is the last patch we have to run through, because I'm ready to start shooting again. Because I think we have something else to shoot. And I don't know if I said it, I think I did, but I'll just say it again. This gun in particular seems to fire a little bit up to the right, but it's still pretty accurate, I would say. I haven't shot this gun before today, so I'm not real familiar with it. So I think most guns are like that. They might have their own idiosyncrasies where they might fire just a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left or whatever. You just have to learn that. And after I'm done with this, because this may be the last patch with any luck at all, I'm going to fire a couple caps through it just to go ahead and completely dry out the barrel. Because again, we don't need any moisture in there because that's going to give us issues. And kind of what I said earlier, if you pack all the powder and the bullet in there and it's wet so it won't fire, you're going to have a problem. Which we don't want to have. Because I don't want to deal with that today. Alright, that's pretty good right there. I'm going to go ahead and make a judgment call and say we're good on that. And because I imagine half of you are asleep at this point, I'm going to go ahead and fire a couple caps through it just to completely dry out the barrel. And since my pouch is back there, I'll use some of these. If I can get it open. Alright. So, no projectiles downrange, but you still want your ear protection because it's not loud, but it's not really, I wouldn't say it's quiet either. There's a little bit of the cleaning solution on the inside of the hammer, so I'll go ahead and clean that out because it's pretty gross in there. So this isn't too bad in all, you know. It doesn't take that long in the grand scheme of things, but you know, you just gotta put up with it and do it. It's a necessary evil, because if you don't, I believe black powder is very corrosive and that'll give you a lot of problems if you don't clean it. I'm gonna have to do a better cleaning of the barrel and this area right here, but for now it's back in operational condition, because we really were getting to the point where I had to use that really thick ramrod to put the ammo in, and at that point you need to just stop. But anyway, got a cap on here, so we'll fire 2 of them. Oh yeah, and be mindful of the sparks, because the sparks will kind of get you in the face a little bit. It doesn't hurt, it's just kind of a shock. So I would recommend, if you don't wear glasses, wear safety glasses, which that's a good rule of thumb anyway, to always wear safety glasses. And also, right after you fire a black powder rifle, don't take a deep breath. And don't open your mouth, because it's gross. It smells like sulfur, tastes like crap. So, you don't want that. Alright, well, again, I'm going to make a judgment call and say we're good. And that's how you clean a black powder rifle.
And like, comment, and subscribe.